Hey, Caitlin, what's going on?
Morning, Doug. How are you?
Can't complain.
Same, same.
Get all your studying done. Well, it's early morning, so you haven't gotten your studying done.
I'm working on it though. I'm doing perio right now.
Uh,
Dr. Mack wants us to make some charts for the different incisions. I'm still trying to figure out how exactly I'm gonna, fashion them together. But it's coming along.
all right.
Doesn't seem like something that needs a chart. It's just like a list.
Probably good. You can categorize the different techniques and what have you. Put that into. Hey, good morning, everybody.
Good morning.
How you doing, Jamila?
Good. How are you?
Oh, I can't complain. You back at work full force now?
I am.
So,
Darren, how you doing, brother? Denise, what's popping in the garden this week? Are you muted?
She's muted, but her microphone is not working.
her microphone, it's probably not synced to the right microphone. That happens sometimes.
Hello, everybody.
Okay, you should be able to hear me now.
Here we go.
Okay. Good morning, Pat. How are you?
I'm great and grateful. How about yourself?
Doing well. Glad fall is finally here.
All right now.
Yeah, I woke up this morning. It's 47 up here.
Yeah, it's really cool outside.
Wow.
Really cool. I attempted to get some yard work done, but
Did you pull weeds?
I started, but didn't go too well.
I went out this morning at like 7 a.m. and was pulling weeds.
Did you finish?
Well, I wasn't pulling my weeds. I was pulling my neighbor's weeds because their yard, because I live in a townhome. I know how that sounds. I live in a townhome community. And so there's a little strip of grass that they have that's connected to my yard. And what you won't do is make my yard look bad.
Well, I thought if their yard looked bad, it makes yours look better.
If it's connected to my house, I feel like it makes my yard look bad, but I'm still dominating because if anybody looks at my house and then they look at either of my neighbors, they're like trash, trash. I wish I was this person.
It's not.
I wish I was this person. She's amazing. That's what they think.
Yeah, I thought about doing my mom's. I'm thinking I'm gonna wait. So I'll probably.
Those are great. They're starting because they're blooming now. They're covered in honeybees.
Costco has some real nice ones. They were in I think 10-inch pots for $10.99 that I looked at last night, and they were big and full. But I'm thinking about getting a lot of little ones and putting them in the pots and let them grow out.
And they will grow out. So here's what I learned this year because I didn't realize they came back like they do. You have to cut them back like in May. I didn't cut mine back, and so they're so huge now that they take up way too much space, and then they start to like split open because they're so large and heavy. So you need to give them like a good prune because they start putting on growth at the beginning of the year. You need to give them a good prune like in May.
So when you gonna start your TV show?
All right.
the garden guru.
Yeah, I don't have a mom like that. Hey, Clark.
Doug, good morning. Good morning, everyone.
Good morning.
Morning, Clark.
Good morning.
You going way back. That's my
Alvin just wanted y'all to know that's his generation.
I am with it, man.
Wait. I just thought about it. That's none of our generation. I think I was like in 4th grade when this
You
song
were not in on 4th grade.
We not the same age, Reggie.
Yeah. Yeah, that was about 80.
Was it really?
Let me look it up.
Please say it wasn't, because I'm about to get scared right about now.
Ron, I love your background. That's so cool.
88. Go to backgrounds and change it.
That's so cool.
You can go to any picture. You go in the settings and go under right where it says stop video. Go up to choose virtual background. There are some in there. I made this one, of course. Added the Xavier logos, but you can change it. What it does is it pretty much checks the pattern around you, and then eliminates the background. It's almost like a virtual green screen.
Wow. I'm going to call you for a private lesson.
Yeah, because I thought that was a step and repeat you were in front of.
I did too.
Unfortunately, the step and repeat is still at my house. But if anybody wants to come pick it up, it's at my house.
As long as it's safe, we're good.
I don't know. Can you see this down at the bottom where it says stop video?
Yes, I see that.
Go right up to virtual background.
Oh, I should try that now?
Yeah, if you want. I mean, you can't put the step and repeat because that's something I made, but you go up here to virtual background.
Okay. I'm at the camera. You know what? I'm challenged and I don't want to make the meeting late. So let's do it after the meeting.
Oh, it takes 2 seconds. Go up to virtual background.
Okay, all right. I'm on the Zoom camera, right?
Right. Down
Okay,
here,
I'm there.
it says stop video.
Oh.
Choose virtual background.
Wait a minute. Oh, yeah. I see stop background. I mean, stop video.
Choose
yeah.
background.
Choose virtual background. Cool beans.
And then you pick a background that you want.
It's okay.
You have to download something first, right? Or you just
there are some standard ones in there.
okay.
I did the actually you can choose any picture as a background. So for me, I went ahead and created some Xavier backgrounds, just with the graphics, and use that.
Morning, everyone. Just joined in.
Good morning.
I remember trying to drive down Drexel when that was being built.
Oh, the pedestrian walkway. Yeah.
What year was that arch put up?
I believe
17 or 18. No, it was my senior year.
it was.
Junior and senior year.
Okay.
What year did you graduate, Clark?
18.
18.
Okay, so it hasn't been up that long.
They started it when I was a senior.
What year did you finish?
In 2016, you said?
I believe so.
It's nice. I like it.
That's beautiful.
Archway and the pedestrian bridge were, it blocked all of the traffic on campus, but it was necessary.
Two of my friends who met at Xavier recently got married in the chapel on campus. Probably one of the nicest weddings I've ever been to.
So let me see if I can figure out how to share screen here, and then we can go ahead and get started if everybody's okay with that. Oh, come on, don't act up on me now.
Mhm. Mhm.
Okay, Brother Alvin, you may have to, well, you're definitely going to have to help me out on this when it comes to parliamentary procedures. We're not officially installed yet, so should Denise open the meeting until the installation is done, or?
You can do that first, right?
Before we open the meeting?
Yeah, you can do that. You don't have to have a meeting for that.
Okay, all right. So then, all right, then. Dr. Terry, we'll let you take over and then we can get started.
Okay. To our outgoing officers, on behalf of the Xavier University of Louisiana DMV Alumni Chapter, I thank all of you for your accomplishments and salute you for your service to our alma mater. You are discharged from all further duties and responsibilities as officers of Xavier University of Louisiana DMV Alumni Chapter, Club Number 5. New officers: Parliamentarian Alvin Blackman, Treasurer Calandra Tate Moore, Financial Secretary Elise Nichols, Corresponding Secretary Denise Dunn, Recording Secretary Kristen Matthews, Vice President Theron Mercadale Sr., President Reginald Salter. I am here to install the officers of Alumni Club Number 5 and to prepare them for the challenges that lie ahead. Their collective challenge is to make this alumni chapter strong and dedicated to helping our alma mater advance, to listen with sensitivity, think creatively, and speak in an effective manner. Will everyone raise your right hand? The growth and development of the DMV Alumni Chapter depends largely on the actions of this group. On your honor, as dedicated Xavierites, will you pledge to individually and collectively stand by this club, foster the mission of the Alumni Associate, and work for the advancement of Xavier University of Louisiana throughout the coming year?
Will.
I will.
We do.
Oh,
I wish our
will.
alumni chapter a very successful year. I now turn control over to our new executive officers.
All right. Thank you, Jamila.
Thank
And
you, Jamila.
congratulations to everyone. And definitely want to start by thanking our past officers, Denise, Jamila, Elise, Andre, everyone for Theron for doing such a great job, Pat, for keeping the Club Number 5 going. We're going to take everything that you all started and try to have an upward trend here. So we definitely appreciate you all. I will be relying on all of you heavily so that we can make our alumni club stronger. Okay, so here's the agenda. This is the first portion. If everyone will take a peek, and then we'll entertain a motion to approve the agenda.
so moved.
Second.
Second.
Has been properly moved in second. That was Theron.
Yes.
Okay, has been properly moved by Theron Mercadale in second to approve the agenda. Is there any unreadiness? All in favor? Let's do a raise of hand.
Aye.
Aye.
Any opposed? Okay, so the agenda has been approved.
Set.
Okay, so Christian, if you can review the minutes.
Review from the report I shared with you?
Yes, you can review those.
Okay.
Do you have them up?
I do not,
Okay.
but I can get them up very quickly. My apologies.
No problem.
I was still in recording mode for me, just writing down everything. Let me see. Do you want me to share my screen or you just want me to read them off?
You could just briefly read through them and then we'll send them out later.
Not a problem. So July 16th, we held our alumni meeting, and at this time, announcements were made regarding the transition and the installations of new club officers. Outstanding items were reviewed and discussed in terms of transcription of minutes, transfer signatures that needed to happen at the bank, as well as a letter needed to confirm the election to be sent by Xavier. It was noted at our last meeting that Jamila Terry will lead the transition of the installation of our new officers, and committees were discussed, and volunteers for committee chairs were also requested at this time. And the review of short-term and long-term goals for the 2020-2022 corresponding years were also reviewed during our last meeting. We held a discussion regarding the Mardi Gras Ball and what was needed in order to close out official business regarding that. Items such as open invoices for handkerchiefs were discussed, as well as we discussed what refund options were available for those who would like them, who would have liked their money refunded. As well as it was noted that a draft of a letter was needed to inform people of the new date, which will be April 17th, 2021. We discussed our Freshman Sendoff, which occurred on August the 1st, and the details regarding what would take to facilitate that event. We also briefly discussed having a student drive-by to be held a week before the students left, and we had a tentative date of like August 15th, as well as discussed short-term goals for the mission of the club, an updated website, increase in dues, as well as we discussed having Mardi Gras Ball versus a holiday brunch. Long-term goals included scholarship campaigns, and efforts to raise money of at least $10,000 were proposed. We also discussed additional scholarship opportunities and really moving away from club scholarships and maybe doing book stipends for our DMV freshmen that are going off to Xavier. We briefly discussed committee updates and just highlighted that our current committees that are available for people to chair and volunteer for are the Outreach Committee, the Fundraising Committee, Social Committee, Membership and Reclamation, the Xavier Fox, Historian, DC HBCU Alliance, Alumni Alliance, and Technology and Communications. We also discussed possibly doing or having or questioning, I'm sorry, someone posed a question about whether or not we have an official archive for the DMV club. And we also discussed whether or not we have official storage of all of our supplies and documents. And that was a brief overview, but again, the minutes will be sent out for people to review in greater detail.
Okay, thank you. What I'm going to do is I'm going to recommend that we table approval of the minutes until we're able to send them out to everyone to review, like Kristen said, in detail.
I move that we accept the minutes as presented pending any adjustments made. Did you hear me?
I heard you. Is there a second?
Oh, okay. I don't know if my computer's working right.
I can hear you. Did we get a second? I didn't hear a second.
I second.
Second, okay.
Oh, I have, oh, go ahead, sorry.
Yep.
I second.
All right, it's been properly moved and second that we accept the minutes with adjustments as made. Any unreadiness?
Yeah, I have a question, and so you can correct me if I'm wrong. But the minutes that were read were from the executive board transition of officers that occurred in July 6th in July. And so my question is it proper for the general body to approve minutes from the July transition meeting as opposed to the last general body meeting, which was in May? Should we even be going over this in this meeting?
Yeah, so that's why I want to table approval of the minutes until we get the minutes from the last general body meeting, which was what, June?
May.
May, okay. All right, so Kristen was not the secretary at that time, so we need to get those minutes transcribed, sent out to everyone, and then we can approve those minutes. So the minutes that were read were a overview of what we discussed in the executive committee meeting. So my recommendation is that we table approval of the minutes until we're able to send out the correct minutes. But we have an agenda on the floor, so we have to go through with the voting.
The motion can be withdrawn.
Is that correct, Alvin? My understanding is that the motion is now on the floor. So it would need to be voted down.
You're on mute,
Oh,
Alvin.
Oh, can you hear me?
Yes.
Oh, okay. Yes, it can be withdrawn.
can be withdrawn. So the maker of the minute of the motion has to withdraw.
Yes.
Yeah.
Okay.
I withdraw them and hold them for further treatment as necessary.
Okay.
And I withdraw my second.
Okay. So then I would need a motion to table the approval of the minutes until the minutes from June 2020 are dispersed.
Move that we table any approval of minutes until the May 2020 minutes can be sent out for approval.
I seconded.
Thank you. And that was Denise with the motion?
Yes.
Okay. All right, has been properly moved and second that we table approval of the minutes until May 2020 minutes are sent out. Any unreadiness? All in favor, say aye.
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 Are there any opposition? Okay.
I don't have an opposition, but I do have a question. I don't mind going back and looking at a recording to transcribe those. So is there a date that we need to have this, that I need to have this done to be sent out?
So our next meeting is November. So if we could get them sent out in October so that members can review them in October and be prepared to approve them, as well as these minutes in November.
Okay, that's not a problem.
Okay, thank you.
You're welcome.
Okay, treasurer's report.
Okay. Good morning, everybody.
Good morning.
I was on 2 meetings, but the other
Good morning.
Do you
Okay.
need to share your screen, Calandra, so I can stop sharing? If
No,
not,
I don't need to share my screen. So
Okay.
I'm just going to talk. So my report is just going to consist of, so I met via conference call with Andre so we can discuss everything in terms of the transfer of materials. Most of the things were straightforward and things that we can get accomplished. So I have the information for the Cash App and the PayPal to get that done. The most detailed items were the physical items. Andre is going to, hopefully, if Denise doesn't mind, I think he is usually closer to you. And if he gets those things to you, then I could get them from you, like the checkbook and those sorts of things, because I think he's out of the area most of the time. But when he comes back to the area, he's going to bring those materials to see if he could maybe drop them off with you, Denise, and then I'll touch base with you to try to get them. And then the other thing was the signatures. That's something that has to be done at a physical location. And so from our discussion, the new members would have to go and at least one of the people who are currently on the as a signature to be able to change those over officially at the bank. So I guess we need to discuss when would be a good time for us to meet at the bank location to get that done. So that's in terms of transferring all of our accounts. But the I've been building out the membership list. So from last year, Andre reported a total of 39 financial members. So far this year, we have about 6. I think when Andre and I spoke, we had 3. And Reggie, I saw your message. I think there were maybe 3 more that came in. So I'm going to continue building out the membership list. I would like to put together forth some type of membership drive. I'm not sure what has been done in the past in terms of, besides just reminding people at the meetings. I know I've gotten questions from Xavierites who have not been financially active as members asking about how they could pay. So I don't know if it's a matter of trying to do something more publicly in terms of this is how you pay, but we can maybe discuss in terms of a membership drive. How do you get more financial members for this particular year? Andre was able to give me the report that he presented in May. So I do have the ending financial balance as of May, but because I don't have access to any of the materials, I don't have an updated financial balance. Any questions about that?
What was that ending balance, if you don't?
So the ending balance in May was $11,067.05.
Okay.
Ooh, first time talking today.
Well,
I just wanted to. Oh, can you hear me?
Mm-hmm.
Yes, we can hear you.
Oh, okay. Yes. Calandra. So the Excel sheet that I sent you, it may be on the wrong month.
Oh, that's right. Oh, sorry. It is. I just noticed that. So the ending balance in May was $15,273.56.
Yes, and that doesn't include the scholarships for $2,000 that we gave away. So that should just give you an average of where we are.
Yeah, so that was as of May, and that doesn't include the scholarships that we gave out or any payments. I think Andre said there may have been at least a couple other payments since then. But at the November meeting, we should have everything changed over, and I can give a updated balance.
All right. Any other questions in regards to Treasurer's report? Okay, so we will accept the Treasurer's report subject to audit for the record, verbal report, and we will have a written report in November.
Yep.
Okay. Thank you.
I move that we accept the treasurer's report subject to the updates or changes.
Is there a second?
A second.
Okay. And the motion was made by Pat, correct?
Correct.
Okay. All right, has been properly moved. Second, that we accept the report, subject to review for changes. Are there any unreadiness? Okay, all in favor, say aye.
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 Is there any opposition? Great, thank you all. Okay, correspondences, Denise?
Okay, good morning, everyone. I'm just going to read the correspondence that we've received since the May meeting, and some of these do require some action, not necessarily by general body, but definitely by outreach and or president. So email that was received on from Mount Calvary Baptist Church regarding their HBCU College Fair, which is virtual for 2020. Admissions Recruitment Officer, Mount Calvary Baptist Church in Rockville, Maryland, plans to host a virtual HBCU College Fair. And I have been tasked by the chairperson, Felicia Williams Palmer, to contact Xavier University to determine whether there is any interest in participating. Xavier University has participated in some of our previous college fairs since our inception 10 years ago. The information regarding the virtual college fair and what we will need from you is provided below. I've pre-filled some of the blanks for you. Please complete and return via email if possible by August 31st. So obviously that date's come and gone. If you do not have all the requested information, please respond with the information you have. And then they did send a follow-up to that on September 15th. So I think we still can respond if there's a desire to do so. Next correspondence was from Jeremiah McLean. And this was regarding an initial correspondence that she had. Hi, it was a pleasure to hear back from you, you being the XULA DMV, and I think Reginald, you responded. It would be awesome if I could be put in touch with or in contact with a student or alum that majored in the dual degree biomedical engineering program. And so this is regarding her or his initial email. It said, hi, my name is Jeremiah McLean, and I plan on applying to Xavier University of Louisiana. I'm a rising junior at Landon School of Bethesda, Maryland, and very interested in my college research right now. I wanted to reach out and introduce myself. I enjoy engineering and plan on majoring in biomedical engineering. And when I learned about XULA at the HBCU Festival in Maryland this year, I was immediately intrigued by the engineering dual degree program. Thank you for your time, and I look forward to hearing from you. So that requires some response. The next is from Denali Whitehead. Hi, Denise. My name is Denali Whitehead, and I work with the New York Power Authority as a recruiting coordinator. We would like to share the Vice President, Chief Information Security Officer with the alumni members from Xavier University in the DC metro area. I looked for a career center but was not able to find one. Would you be able to share our position with your members? I have attached the job description and also pasted it in the body of this email. Please let me know if you could share this or direct me to the best way to get this to your members. We would like to continue having a partnership with your alumni group and would love to get your thoughts on how we can partner with you. Okay, and that was from Denali Whitehead. The next correspondence is from Julietta Barbiero. Hi, Mr. Dunn. I am following up on a message previously sent, which said, Dear Alumni Chapter President, the American Association of University Women is leading the charge to close the gender pay gap by helping women have tools they need for professional success. We've been advancing gender equity for women and girls through research, education, and advocacy for over a century across the U.S. and are thrilled to share an exciting no-cost opportunity with you, made possible by a generous grant from the Coca-Cola Foundation. Through this grant, we will partner with you to bring AAUW, which is the acronym for American Association of University Women, our highly effective salary negotiation workshop for women entering the job market or seeking a raise or promotion to your group. Through our Women's Economic Security Initiative, AAUW has trained over 170 individuals in salary negotiation through in-person workshops and online. And goes on to say HBUs have been the cornerstone of higher education for African American students, and AAUW would be honored to partner with your alumni group to expand the work already initiated through our fellowships and grants and other national programs. So that does require a response. The next correspondence, and the last, is from Ariel McFadden, who works at, who's admissions counselor at Xavier. It states, greetings, starting in January, Xavier's Office of Admissions will host virtual admitted student sessions around the country. These events will be opportunities for admitted students to receive more information about the university in their own areas. We are encouraging alumni to participate in these virtual events and help usher in the next generation of Xavier students. Please fill out the Alumni Virtual Admitted Student Session sign up if you are interested. For planning purposes, discuss with your chapter members the dates available to host events in your areas. Please do not send the link out to the chapter. Once dates for all areas have been selected, you may share the link with alumni members in your chapter. Your assistance is greatly appreciated. We look forward to hearing from you. Best regards, Ariel McFadden. And that concludes the correspondence.
Thank you, Denise. So for the young man, Jeremiah, I did put him in touch with a student, Noah Williams, down at Xavier. So they've been having conversations, and I will follow up with Jeremiah to make sure he's getting the information that he needs. Someone had a question?
I wanted to ask Denise, what was the date for the Mount Calvary Career Fair?
Let me go back. One moment.
It's November 14th.
It's the 14th.
Okay.
What, November 14th?
Yes.
Yeah, November 14th, 2020.
Okay.
It's going to be via the Microsoft Teams platform. And the one thing I would say, and I don't know if anyone's already doing this, but they have continually listed Xavier University. So when I've been running into that, I correct people and let them know that it's Xavier University of Louisiana. And I would encourage you to do the same.
Any other questions? So for the college fair, I will save that for Alexandria when she gives her report so we can discuss our participation there. Now for the two companies that want to partner with the Alumni Association, I'm not really familiar with either. I know one had a job listing, so perhaps Denise, we can send that job listing out to the group, to the listserv for the chapter to review. But as far as partnership, what I would like to do once we have our fundraising committee formed, or at least have a chair, we can talk with both of these organizations to see if there's any mutual benefit to a partnership with either. Does that sound agreeable to everyone, or does anyone have any concern about having discussions with both of these organizations?
So are we clear on like what the nature, because I wrote down for the AAUW, I'm familiar with that organization. You said something about they help with negotiations are they saying that they just want members to know that they're a resource for these types of opportunities?
Specifically, it sounds like they want to do is present a seminar on how to negotiate a better salary or a raise. And so they specifically said they wanted to partner with us. It's a very, very long letter. I read the highlights, but it's like a 2-page letter. So I can forward a copy of that or post it somewhere.
Okay.
Yeah, let's do that. If you could, maybe let's send the letters out to the membership, and then at the next executive board, let's really discuss the nature of the partnership that they're seeking, how we can help, and honestly, how can that be a synergistic relationship here? How can it advance the chapter and the membership as well? And then we'll make a communications with these organizations if it's the desire of the body.
So for that one, that might be something Tanya Sloan's might be interested. I'm not sure if it's focused on women or not, but I know she does a lot of work with respect to narrowing the wage gap. So it may be worthwhile connecting with Tanya.
Okay, thank you for that.
Mm-hmm.
Okay, any other questions or comments for correspondences? Okay, so I think I skipped. Okay, so let's move right into our committee report. Kalandra.
Okay. So, so for the scholarship report, I guess a couple of things. I guess Reggie asked me to talk about the process. So with the scholarship, Denise was able to, I guess, set up everything from like we did it last year in terms of job form, and that's how, you know, they completed. I think the job form, like the process itself, you know, worked well in terms of them being able to submit the applications, and I was able to just go in and update that from last year. So I don't think anything necessarily needs to be different with there. The only thing that I had was in terms of figuring out like who receives information that the scholarship is available. I know we have now the event, the accepted student event, and I know we prepare information for that, or for people who are connected through the alumni. We tried to reach out. I think Denise and I both tried several times to reach out to the what was Office of Admissions or Alumni Office. I tried both to try to get a list of students in the area, and I don't think we ever got it. It could have been, of course, what was going on in the spring. So I did notice that last year, it seems we had 25 submissions for the scholarship, and this year we only had 8 submissions for the scholarships, 8 or 9 submissions for the scholarship. So just making sure many of the, I don't know what the final count from this area of which students, how many new incoming freshmen we actually ended up having that enrolled. But it seems like at least from the Sendoff that there were many more participants, you know, available. So just making sure everybody gets it. So we had 2 recipients. One was Anaya Diggs. She was a Maryland resident. She went to Glenelg County School. She had a 4.24 in high school. Both of the recipients have written us nice letters thanking us and expressing their gratitude for the scholarship. Anaya mentioned that she's in the chemistry club and the pre-pharmacy club, so I assume her major is maybe pre-pharmacy or chemistry. Anijah Boone is a DC resident. She attended Benjamin Banneker. She had 4.16 in high school, and she mentioned in her letter that she's a biology pre-med major with a chemistry minor, and she eventually wants to add Spanish as her minor. They both seem to be enjoying Xavier and New Orleans in general. And as I said, they were both appreciative and thankful for the receiving the scholarship.
Okay, cool. Thank you so much. So, and we'll talk about the Mardi Gras Ball in a second, but hopefully we're able to eventually increase the amount of funds that we're giving. And one thing I do want to latch onto, and we will discuss at great length throughout this year, is the concept that Denise came up with, where we do an endowed scholarship for DMV students that is really managed by Xavier. Right now, our scholarships are focused on incoming students from this area, but I do have to agree with Denise. I really would like to see us get funding in there for students who are returning, who are from this area. money is not always easy to come by, but sometimes if you are a returning student, finding those extra funds when you go back to school is a little bit more challenging as it is when you are coming right out of high school. And we have some recent grads in here, so you all can give me your input if I'm off, because I'm a few decades removed from being a college student right now. Do we have any other questions in regards to scholarships? Okay. Let's move on to outreach. Alessandra.
Hey, good morning. So we have at least one opportunity that I am aware of, and it's the one that Denise just shared at Mount Calvary Baptist Church on November 14th. I'm going to reach out to the committee member at Calvary because based off of the information that they sent, it almost seems as though they're really just looking for a representative from admissions to have one-on-one conversations with students. So I'm going to reach out and find out what it is that they really want and what the fair is supposed to look like. If they are looking for kind of a similar setup as to what it would be if it were live, then I will send a communication out to the group to recruit for 1 or 2 additional volunteers. I'm not working that Saturday, so I would be able to be present. I also need to connect with our own admissions to find out what this is supposed to look like in the virtual setting. If they're sending out collaterals to interested students, if they're just sending a website that they're supposed to go to, what does that look like? And if indeed this is looking for an admissions representative, who that person might be to be able to represent us. Usually in November, I think the Alphas have their college fair in Fort Washington. I'm not sure if they're doing that. I haven't received anything from them. If anyone happens to get anything, if you would kindly please forward that information to me, I'd greatly appreciate it.
I haven't heard anything about it as well, and usually it's heavily advertised by now, so I'm not sure.
Mm-hmm. The only other thing is I know that all of the, I think most of the HBCUs are doing virtual college fairs where there are specific days for certain colleges. There's been, I've seen it on social media. I apologize, I don't know what day Xavier falls on. And I'm not sure if that's supposed to take the place of a lot of other activities. So I'll connect with them and get a little more information and share that information.
Great, thank you. And that date for the Calvary Fair is on the same date as our next chapter meeting as well. Just so everyone, for your calendar purposes. All right, thank you. And in terms of outreach, my sister is, of course, in the great state of Georgia down in Atlanta. So I did have the opportunity to speak. Her chapter, Delta Sigma Theta, had a fair for the students in Atlanta. So I did have an opportunity to speak to those students about Xavier. Y'all know how I feel about Xavier. So I think we won them over in that category. The other colleges weren't ready. They weren't ready.
I have one question about that. Did you connect with the Atlanta chapter Xavierites, or this was just specific for your sister?
Yeah, I just did it for my sister. Yeah.
Okay.
But I did connect with some alum in the Atlanta chapter who were on in attendance to the session. Okay.
Well, they have a lot of postings on the social media with these college tours.
Yeah.
And different dates in different schools. In fact, I think they had one this morning I missed. It was at 9 o'clock. But
yeah, honestly,
Alessandra, you did mention that Xavier has one coming up and has a particular date. It seems like they're doing them in groups. So
yeah,
that's a way to connect too.
It's definitely starting to become
Put the
overwhelming.
information out.
It's becoming really overwhelming with all of the.
It's a lot out there.
Yeah. But I mean, I know the students need the information.
Zoom.
Tell me about it. Should have gotten stock in Zoom. Okay, in terms of the next three committee membership, social, and fundraising, we'll just talk briefly on each. We have not identified alum to chair these particular committees. So if any of you who are online now, if you are interested, definitely I will be very grateful if you would take the charge. If you want to co-chair it with someone and you have someone in mind whom you can work with, that would be great. And if you want to be a part of one of these committees, that would be even better. But the main thing is I really want us to act more like a web. You know, I don't want to put a lot of pressure on any of you who are heavily participating, but there are some alum out there who have untapped talents that we all know and we speak to. So if everyone could just really encourage participation with the Alumni Association, let everyone find their groove where they feel that they can better serve, because we definitely have the need, and we will support our alum who take on these roles. As far as the younger alumni that we have who are joining the chapter, I really do want to impress upon you all to be active when it comes to membership. A lot of times you all know the people who are recently graduating, who are coming to the area for graduate school or for work, what have you. So you will be a great benefit to us if you could channel that information to us so that we can reach out. And also let us know how, as an alumni association, we can meet them. I know sometimes when we are younger, we feel like alumni associations or what have you are not necessarily meeting your needs, but I contend that that's not true. I think alumni associations are very important when it comes to not only the students going to our alma mater, but students who are coming out who may need some mentorship guidance, even as far down to resume writing, etc. And so we don't have reports for those three committees. My challenge is that we all work together to identify chairs and members for these particular committees. Okay, let's move on to old business. Let's start with the Freshman Sendoff. Denise, you want to give us a recap?
Sure. So we had 72, excuse me. Yeah, I want to say 72 registrants for the Freshman Sendoff, for our virtual Sendoff, which I think was phenomenal. Definitely compared to, I attended several Sendoffs. I would say ours was the best, and I know that's how that sounds, but it really was. It really was. So we ultimately had 53 students who attended. We did have a highlight video from that. So as we're navigating the Zoom world, this is something I didn't know. This is new information that I'm learning as we go. You have to press record in the Zoom rooms. And because we didn't record the Zoom room, it was only recording the main room. So we don't have the things that happened in our 2 breakout sessions, unfortunately. But we did have a highlight video that is posted on our YouTube site. And also there's a link to it on our main website. There was also a link to it in the updated email that just went out, that just was telling about the meetings and things that are coming up. So there's a highlight video that 3C's, the event planning company, put together. And that was, usually that's something you have to pay for, but that was given to us for free as conciliatory, because they didn't realize that we had to press record as well. So now they know that they need to give us that heads up that we need to record. The other thing about the send-off was this was the first send-off that we had in conjunction with our on-campus Xavierites. So this was the first time we actually had participation from the club, and I think that was great that we're pulling in more youth to the alumni group, because I think this is how we get them to understand how important alumni is and the power that we can have, and that they start coming back once they graduate, that they know this is something they want to do. And that this is not anything that requires any action. I hope we continue to move forward with the DMV club and continue to work with them moving forward. And The other thing regarding Sendoff is that we did send out the two $1,000 scholarships by PayPal. Just because it was really too much trouble to try to get the check from Richmond. So they were paid by PayPal, and they seem to have no issue with that at all. And I had one more thing, and I can't think of it. I should have written that up. The last thing is that we were supposed to have gifts for them to give. I have about 50 masks that one of the young people on campus, her aunt, sold for the students, which was very nice. So we want to get that to the kids, and that's it for my report regarding the send-off.
Okay, thank you. Yeah, if you all haven't seen the highlights video, it was really good. I played it like 3 times yesterday. It's really good, and it's on the YouTube channel. And I'll probably play it at the end of this meeting for those who haven't seen it.
Thanks for letting them know. I didn't know it was there. Thanks.
Yeah, it's real. Oh, you're all over it.
Oh,
Over the video.
maybe I don't want to watch.
That was a really good highlight video. In regards, usually at the send-off, we do give the kids the students a bag with some things that they could use down at the university. We didn't get a chance to do that because everything was happening so quickly, and they had to get back to school before we could really thoroughly plan out a drive-by. So what we discussed with them is that we would still do the gift bags, box them up, send them to the DMV club on campus, and when they have their in-person general body meeting, we can make sure that all of the students receive their bags. So I do want to proceed with doing that. I know we had a budget for the send-off. I'm not sure how much is left in regards to that budget, but I would assume, or I'm going to ask for a motion to use those funds to, we have masks, but if we could purchase mask with DMV logo or some type of embroidery on it to identify them as being a part of the DMV club, as well as something that we can use here in the area. I would like to have a motion to use those funds to do that, and then we can see what we have in terms of funding to get the students a nice gift bag that we can send off to them. We're a little too late. Well, you're never too late for ponchos, but we missed the hurricane, so it would have been nice if we had given them ponchos or what have you for that time, but not to carry on too much. So if I can get a motion to use the money that were budgeted for the send-off to prepare gift bags for those students.
Reggie, can I say something right now?
Sure.
The students are going to be coming back. Xavier's going to close down after, right before Thanksgiving, I think, and they're not going to go back until January. So you might want to consider doing something up here with giving those gifts out to the students, because between now and then, I don't know how much, you can get accomplished.
Okay.
In terms of getting them distributed and then having their meeting. And because they're very strict about having congregations, on the campus because of the COVID situation, it could be something that we could do a distance kind of reception up here, maybe.
I like that better.
And you'll be more in direct contact.
Yeah, I like that better.
It's just, just a thought, but they are gonna try to finish, with semester ending right before Thanksgiving, and then after that, they don't go back to school until January.
And that's good, because we usually have a holiday social, so looks like that may turn out to be virtual, but at least, like you said, they will be in the area. How do you all feel about that as a body? Waiting until they return for the semester?
I really wanted to send them something, like even if we sent it to the because we have on-campus students, so they just had their interest meeting, and they went over their mentorship program that they set up to match their current the upperclassmen with the freshmen, and I would like for us to send something that they can at least have it in the alumni office that the students can come pick up or distribute out, or that they can say, hey, we received this from the alumni chapter, because they are down there, so they can easily just go pick something up. And also we have $1,000 left.
The question I probably would ask, what's the timeline to get these care packages to them?
Well, if we're going to send the care packages within a month, which would put us right mid-October. So we can reach a happy median based on the suggestion Denise and Elise made. We could proceed with personalized masks and send them the mask, but then do bags with other items that they can use, like Elise said, when they come back and we do our holiday gathering, and we invite them to that as well. And we can, or even, do a drive-by then.
What is the count? How many do we think we need?
Calandra, what was the number we had for just freshmen alone? How many were there?
Are we talking about the freshmen who are down?
Well, we would like to do all of the students from the area, upperclassmen and freshmen, but I was just trying
I don't have a count. I don't know what the number of freshmen we ended up having.
The count that we were given was 53 were accepted and deposit paid. So that was 9 more than we had last year. We had 44 who were accepted deposit paid. So did all those accepted deposit paid go? I don't know. We would have to check in to get an updated list.
Okay.
So if we contacted the undergrads down there, since you just had an interest meeting, maybe we can list from them faster and better than working with the alumni office.
Mm-hmm. Yeah. Based on just the numbers that we do know, we're looking at roughly 80 students, 75 to 80 students.
Okay, thank you.
You would think I spend all day on this daggone Zoom. You would think I know how to do this thing.
I have a comment about the mask and freshman send-off discussion. I just want us to be mindful. So we voted on the freshman send-off, which included the send-off and whatever gifts we were going to give the freshmen the send-off. And if we're saying that, we have $1,000 left over, I want to encourage that whoever's going to take on this mask endeavor to make sure you get the count correct and you get masks that can fit within that $1,000 budget. Because what I'm not comfortable with is the idea of now we want to do something different. So if we want to do something separate that's not a part of the freshman send-off, this should be a new discussion in terms of, well, now it's going to be a care package, now it's going to be something else, and it's going to be something addition to whatever the money that was already allotted for the freshman send-off and the gift and all that package. So we need to be careful to not merge the discussions. If we're finishing off what we already voted on and allotted for the freshman send-off, then we get those gifts, and then we have to come back in another discussion and decide, hey, we want to do something additional for our students there. So now we need to vote on something else that's going to incur something different monetary.
Okay, so if you all want to, let's look into, do the research for the mask, get the count and get the cost for the mask and come up with a total before we make a move on this. The motion is on the floor, so my recommendation would be to vote the motion down for now, and then we come back to the table later once we have a definite number of students and a actual cost for the mask. And then,
well, I think the motion was just to use the $1,000, right? So I don't think anything is wrong with the motion. The motion is to use the $1,000 to get masks or whatever we need to get to finish our gift that we were going to give the freshmen for the send-off.
But do you all want to keep the mask within that 1,000? Because realistically, that's not, I don't see that happening.
Okay.
Well, we may be.
I would say the motion would be inappropriate then if we already had an agreement to use the full 1,500, which includes the amount for gifts, and we've chosen to do masks. Then I would say that the motion seems inappropriate, and somebody with parliamentary can correct me on this, but it seems appropriate that we would have a motion regarding specifically what this gift that's already, we had 1,500 already set aside for the send-off.
So here's the question. The motion for the 1,500, was it a motion, a blanket motion to use a budget of 1,500, or did the motion include the send-off with the gifts? Because if that's the case, then you are correct.
The 1,500, the motion was originally made by Elise, and it was for that we had the same 1,500 available for the send-off that we had in prior years. And there was not specifically stated that it's for a gift, because the 1,500 was always inclusive of that amount. So it was always with the understanding that whatever the total amount is that we're going to spend, that included the gifts.
Denise, everybody, I think the motion was made by Pat to use the $1,000 to have the mask made with some kind of emblem on them, represented, and send them to the students.
I'm not talking
Or
about
just to use the $1,000. That's that was the motion that I second.
Yeah, that was not. I'm not talking about today, Elise. I'm talking about the original.
Oh, previous. Okay. Well, I don't remember
from,
any of that.
It was
okay.
from May 16th, 2020.
But I think we need. Okay. Instead of getting tied up with so much parliamentary procedure, can we decide on what we're going to do about this $1,000 mask?
Yeah, we have to vote. So, yeah, we have to vote again.
Yep, so the motion is on the floor. Any other discussion?
I have a question. So are we voting to make masks? Because Denise said we had 50 masks. Are we just adding to it? So now that 80 for all the students, or we're just creating something completely different?
So the motion did not include personalized masks. It's just, the motion is to allocate the 1,000 to masks.
Okay.
So to answer that question, if we have the masks that are not personalized and they are sufficient, then we have what we need. And if not, if we decide to go with personalized masks, then we have 1,000 to allocate towards that. Did that answer your question?
Yeah, it answers the question.
Okay. All right, so all in favor?
Aye.
Yeah.
Is there any opposition? Okay, motion passes. We will allocate $1,000 towards masks for the students. And we will congregate later to discuss the specific of the masks, whether they are personalized, whether we need more of what we have, etc. In terms of the Mardi Gras Ball, so right now the contract has been moved to April 17th, which is a Saturday. We have a $1,000 deposit for the Camelot, as well as other expenses that we have incurred so far with the Mardi Gras Ball. Now, right now, the regulations that they have in regards to the use of the Camelot is, of course, there's 6 to a table. I did not get the total number that each room that they would allow per room. Our contract included a buffet service. It will still be buffet service. However, someone from their staff would actually be there. I guess almost like a cafeteria type setup, if you can imagine that. They will actually serve the food or plate, put it on your plate, as opposed to the guests servicing themselves. So those are the guidelines they have in place right now, of course, with the mask, etc. We don't know what those guidelines will look like in April. We don't know what this pandemic will look like in April. But what we need to start thinking about as a body, because I drafted a letter to send out to patrons, people who have already purchased tickets, and expressing to them that the funds from the Mardi Gras Ball are for scholarships, and I really impressed upon them that the importance of the scholarships. However, we did put in there, include the option that if people, if they chose that, well, I'd prefer to have a refund, we have to honor that. And it may put us in a situation where if a lot of people are requesting their refunds. And once we settle those accounts, will it be worth having the Mardi Gras Ball, which means we may lose about 2,000 or so because we would lose the deposit, give or take from the other expenses that we have, like the handkerchiefs, etc. So that's a discussion that we need to start. I know we're not going to reach a conclusion today because, again, we don't know what the pandemic will look like. But I do want to get a sense of how you all feel if we get to January, February, and have to cancel this event. And we also have to include Dillard on this conversation once we come to a consensus from the Xavier side. So I'll entertain comments or concerns now about the Mardi Gras Ball.
I'm looking at my high school alumni association. We have various chapters around the country as well. We are moving towards a virtual Mardi Gras Ball for 2021. So that's already planned. It's obviously going to be a little bit earlier. It's usually held around January, but that's an option that we might have to think of in this day and time.
Okay.
I had a question too. So for the refund, I am in favor of a refund, but should we set a deadline? I don't know if we have a deadline that they can get a refund.
I think that's a good idea because then we wouldn't be carrying this question over our head for a while. So I think that's a great idea to do a deadline.
What is the date that we'd have to tell Martins, or I forget where we're going, that we don't want to do this?
We have to let them know 60 days so that we don't have to pay a percentage. So 60 days so that we will only lose the deposit.
Okay, so that's 1,000 for us and 1,000 for Dylan.
Mm-hmm.
Okay.
So that would put us at about February 17th.
So should that be the deadline then for refunds?
I would say the weekend before that. I would say the 13th. That would be my recommendation. That gives us time to kind of catch our breath, and see where we are financially and all of that good stuff.
Have you spoken to Dillard yet and found out how they're feeling about
So, yeah, so Dillard their initial response is that they wanted to go ahead and cancel. But I think they were under the impression, I know they were under the impression that we could get the deposit back, as well as some of the things that we have paid for, which is not a great deal of expenses, but some of the things that we have paid for, they owe Xavier a 50% reimbursement. So I think once they realized that, they wanted to see if they agreed to go ahead and push it back to the April date just to see where we are with the pandemic. And so I did let them know that I would be sending a letter to patrons from the Xavier side, and I gave them a copy of it, and I told them that was the proposed letter that we will be sending out. And after this meeting, I will touch base with them to give them a sense of where we as a body, where we are leaning in regards to the Mardi Gras Ball. Now, even though I would hate to see the event canceled, it's my greatest prayer that this pandemic will change and that we can go on with it. I have to be realistic with the idea that some people just are not comfortable going to a social event like that. And people have a right to ask for their funding back. I also included that if we do not have the event and you want to make the $85 a donation, we would definitely accept and appreciate that as well. So that's also an option. The letter has not been released as of yet, but those are the things that are options in the letter.
I have another question, Reginald. What is the bottom line in terms of loss of money to Xavier and to Dillard if we decided not to have the ball.
Denise, would you say it's about 1,500 to 2,000 right now for each that we have paid?
We would not be able to get any of that back, even if we met the deadline that Camelot is asking us to meet in terms of cancellation?
Yeah, the
we paid out.
1,000. Go ahead,
Okay.
Denise.
So I was saying we've paid out 1,000 to Camelot for the location, but also 100 or so for the. It should be included 100 or so for. I can't remember if it's been paid out or not for the handkerchiefs. That's an expense we can't get back. We would also have to cancel the photographer. That's been paid out. That was 125 that was paid out. That I'm not sure we'll be able to get that back. If we decide to cancel altogether. So I think we can get some back though. And
I think that a lot of people might want to go, but you're not going to be able to fill it to capacity to make any profit. And some people will still be very uncomfortable. So I'm of the mind that I think we should cancel it really out of comfort and out of science. I don't like the idea of canceling it, but that's my opinion. That's my feeling. That I think people would be uncomfortable. So we should try to recover as much as we can, and do what we can to return people money for tickets, and just move on, because I think it's a kind of a drag on how we're thinking and feeling. Well, for me, anyway. I'm speaking for Elise. I'm not speaking for everybody.
I understand.
But it could be a contribute. I like the idea of maybe giving a contribution if those who've already given and those who want to give can do something like that. You know, and then Xavier has this $1 million fundraising effort for, you know, for the next 5 years. And so there's a lot of money being asked for all around that we could support our own club and support Xavier too.
I have a question. I'm willing to go with the majority out of course, like science and safety. Because I've never been to the Camelot. Do they have an outdoor option? I know with some of the things that's been going on, one of the options that vendors are giving is that if they were hosting an event that was originally indoors, they will extend, like give the same price as an outdoor option to provide more space to make it safer. I was trying to check on the website while y'all were talking, but I didn't see anything, but I'm not aware. Like if there's an outdoor option, could we still do all of the things? Because I agree with, I think it was Elise, a lot of people may not want to come, so we're not going to get the numbers. So if, you know, there was an option to hold it outside, that could possibly be a thing. But again, I feel like if the numbers aren't going to be what it needs to be, it should either be canceled or, like Alvin said, by February 13th, give them the option to get a refund or have it be a donation.
Okay. Now, the outside option, I'm not sure. And that's a great question. And I will give them a call. Actually, I'll see if they're there today, but if not, I'll give a call first thing Monday morning to see. And that, if that's the case, we can also add that to the letter as well. Unless it is you all's desire to make the decision today to go ahead and move forward with cancellation, or go with the previous option of holding out until February 13th.
Hey, Reggie, it's Alexandra. I'm wondering if we have a sense within ourselves how many at this point.
Yeah, just organize it.
Let me say, we might need, we can have a hot mic. So if you're not speaking, could you mute your mic? Go ahead, Alexandra.
Let me see who.
Thanks. How many of us currently are intending to attend? We're not even willing to attend. I think that, you know, that speaks volumes. Secondly, I think with respect to the money that we might be losing, I heard Denise, handkerchiefs. I don't know what's printed on the handkerchiefs, if we do decide to cancel, are we able to use the handkerchiefs in another way? I don't know, maybe that becomes part of or freshman send off or some other way to utilize that, use the photographer at a different time, or are we photographer on that specific date and for that specific time?
So the handkerchiefs actually have April 2020, April 18th, 2020 on them, because that was the original date that we were supposed to have. Alex, that's you making noise. If you want to mute yourself, or Reggie, you can do it.
Yeah, I tried to mute him.
Oh,
but
sorry. I thought I heard you.
That's all right. But yeah, the handkerchiefs, I don't know how we would possibly use them because they have a specific date on them. So I think that's just an L. We were
They could
going
be
to
given
use
as
them.
souvenirs.
Mhm.
We
Just
were
give
going
them out as souvenirs to people who want them.
we were going to use them in 2021 and just go ahead and give them out at the event. But there's nothing specific about them now. I guess, yeah, we could give them as souvenirs if people actually want them, but there's nothing in terms of these handkerchiefs. I wish we could put "Stop by Coronavirus" or something on them. That would be hilarious.
It would be like a little iron-on patch.
Yeah, that would be hilarious if we could just add something to it, or if we did send out like a little, if people wanted for those people who wanted to make a donation, maybe we could just put some little gift thing together, since we're coming in at extremely less money. But I don't know, honestly. I'm of the opinion, so I'm not sure about outdoors because April, it's just so iffy in this area. It could be extremely hot or not. So you just never know what you get here. But I like the idea of outdoors, but I didn't see where they had a specific outdoor area. So they would have to be willing to set that up.
I did have a question about that April date. Are we setting that date? We're not going to move forward anymore? Like May, June, this is it?
No, that's the date that we have contracted as of now. That's the date, because when we made the change, that was as far out as they would extend moving without usually there's a charge to move, but given the status of the pandemic, they were moving people's events out to a certain date. So we could have gone, I think, to the end of April, but we kind of went with the idea of going with the same weekend in a different year. Whether they're still moving back, I don't know. Honestly, and this is just me really personally, I don't know how many times I want to move this back. I think we need to make a decision that either it's going to happen on April 17th, 2021, or it's not. Because to keep moving it back and then discussing it over, it is almost becoming tiring at some point. Because then we have to go through, we had a band, the band is paid for, we have to go back and now renegotiate with the band on the date, etc., and all that stuff. So I think we need to make a decision. Either we cancel today or we wait it out to the 13th.
Okay, thanks for that.
Yeah.
Yeah, I'm a little biased because I've never gone, so I know I would still want to go, but I know things could change in April.
Yeah.
So it's the consensus that so far, all of the money that has been paid out, none of it is refundable. So at this point, we know how much we spent. We could tally that up, and that would be the amount that is lost.
Yeah, it looks like right now approximately 1,250, if my math is correct. But I do want to go back to Alexandra's question. She had a really good question of, based on the people who are on the line who were purchasing, what are you all's thoughts as patrons who've already paid? Are you looking to proceed to attend? For instance, if you received that letter in the mail, I know for me, I had 2 tables, and I know my guests are still on board if we have it. But I think I like that question. I think that's a good way to start because we have a sample here that we can survey, if you will.
Hi. I just got a feeling once this pandemic is over that everybody's going to be wanting to go there and do everything that they've been denied for the last year or so. So I think you almost got to keep something planned because once this is over, I mean, everybody's looking to do everything at that point. So to not have something ready would be a disservice, I think. That's just my comment.
Okay. Anyone else?
Well, I know we're during the pandemic, but I'm seeing a lot of people going to restaurants and eating. So, I mean, it's a huge amount of people.
I'm still of the opinion that I would go. I really don't make it much past my garden outside, but I would like to. I would like. I would like to go places and see people. Hey y'all, miss you.
Yeah,
So-
I think I would go. I think the reality is we're going to be in the space for some time. And I think mask wearing come April will just be a part of what we're used to doing. I think as long as they have, if the capacity limit allows us to make even a slight profit,
Mhm.
I think it's worth it. If the capacity limit prevents us from making a profit, then I don't think it's worth it. So I could see, or I think my husband and I, we would go. We've been out and about and just masking up.
Yeah. Okay. So I'm going to go on a limb here and ask if someone would offer a motion that we continue to hold on to the April 17th date and make a final decision, or just include in the letter that people have until February 13th to, if they want a refund.
Brady, can I ask a question?
Mm-hmm.
So are you saying that whether we cancel now or by the February 13th date, the amount lost will still be the $1,250? Or I guess if you're planning to have it in April, then there's going to be some bit of, I guess, marketing to try to get ticket sales. So
Yeah.
what would be the difference in terms of?
And that's a good question. So that's the thing. So if we're going to continue to have it, we have to sit down, those who are working on the Mardi Gras Ball committee, and it's still open for more people to join, to look at where we are, where we left off with the planning, what else did we need to purchase? Because I think Denise, Elise, and Pat, correct me if I'm incorrect, we had not finished purchasing the decorations for the table, correct?
Correct.
Mm-hmm. So we still have that to purchase. Now I really have to go back and look at all the old minutes and see what else what other expenses we still have to incur. I know at the top of my head, I know that the decorations for sure. I know we have the vases, but it's a matter of getting the other stuff.
And we don't incur any expense for advertising when the hard copies that go out come specifically from Xavier. So that's not an expense that we incur. The one thing I would say is that makes it remain up in the air, because right now we would still be at the $1,250 if we canceled. There has to be consideration for Dillard. If Dillard says we don't want to have this and we cancel, and if we decide to move forward or cancel at that point, if we decided to move forward, then obviously we would be taking on the expense that they normally cover as well. So our expense could go up, or if we cancel. So it would depend on Dillard too.
And there's one more thing we have to consider, and I really don't know how this would play out. We did have one company that made a corporate sponsorship, so I don't know how that would play out, if they would say, we want our money back, or you can use towards future event. That's a conversation we have to have with them as well.
That's a good point. I think that company would still be supportive of us and not ask for their money back.
So I would recommend that we alter that date, that we consider placing in the letter to give people get their refund. I would alter that to give us a little bit more wiggle room to January 31st. And that gives us about 15 days in February to come together and make a really solid decision based on where we are financially and number-wise.
I'm sorry, what's the deadline again for the refund?
I'm recommending January 31st.
As the deadline date to make a decision?
that deadline for
Xavier to decide, for us to decide.
well,
Well,
for people to
for the
say they
people
want
who
to
bought their tickets to decide, yeah.
Yeah. And then that gives us, when we as a body come together, we can come together on February 13th. Then we'll have realistic numbers. We lost this many guests, et cetera, et cetera.
Can I make a suggestion or something to look at?
Absolutely.
Everything is going virtual, so it's possible to have a virtual option of the Mardi Gras with and if you offer refunds, just a portion of the meal where you're still making a donation towards Xavier, whatever that portion is, and you can do the virtual Mardi Gras at whatever date you still have. And that way people can still feel involved, but I don't want to come. They still can come virtually. So it's not like they just will not see what's going on. That way, they have that option. And like I said, it still was a fundraiser, still a fundraiser. So to leave the fundraising part as a gift donation or towards that event would still make sense to them and to us, because but naturally people wanted to go, because of the New Orleans thing, but you can still offer that in the virtual option that people just, like Denise refused to just go to anything, so that option is still there. You just provide multiple options to still keep people involved. And even in new sales, providing that option. It's still a fundraiser. It's still not like an all-out concert where you just want your money back. It's still a fundraiser where you still want to allow people to donate, which was the purpose of the event, to the university. So keeping that still mindset, to emphasizing to the folks that, yeah, this is a fundraiser for Xavier, but that you was also interested in these other options, but still provide at least some of those options. The only option that you won't be able to provide for the virtuals or is the food.
Okay. So,
and I actually, this is Mia. Good afternoon, everyone. If we do the virtual option, another possibility is that we can also get a caterer to deliver meals to those who are interested in attending virtually. I know there's a few Louisiana caterers in this area that actually have been delivering food during COVID. So that's another option if food is a concern.
Mm-hmm.
So here,
So I'm sorry. I have a thing too. So I think that kind of pivot that we're talking about in terms of having a virtual option will require us to do. So feel free to join the committee, but I think that would require more people to think this out, because I still have events for our auction here at my home. This Drew Brees jersey. The gift we got from Costco. So there's things that are still at the house that were regarding the thing. So maybe we can, I like the idea of virtual if that's the way we're going to go. So that's an option too. But I also think it's going to require a lot more work in pivoting in that direction to have that as another option for people. If we're going to include that in the letter that's going out to say you have until January 31st to cancel, then are we offering these other options after that or before that? So that's require more thought, I think.
Yeah, I was about to say, let's
up at the
these are
event.
great ideas, and I think that I'm more inclined to say we have a committee member, and again, everybody's welcome to join that committee, or even if you just want to sit in on the committee meeting, because and the only reason I say that is because then the question becomes, are we going fully virtual, or are we doing a hybrid? Because Camelot is not canceling in-person events. So that beckons the question, are we canceling the in-person event with the limitation on the numbers to have a virtual? So I think more questions, these are great ideas, but I think there are more questions to consider that.
Right. I think also, right, and a committee would be great, but instead of putting the meals on a plate, how about picking them, setting them to go where people can still come by and say, hey, thanks. Here's the go meal, something similar to that. I think it still can be worked out. It's just a matter of, getting into this committee and ideas together. But there's so many options out there. You see them every day that's going on right now. People are striving still through all this pandemic and still doing what they got to do to stay in business, to be business. And it's the same way here. We have to think of ways to still keep this going in this condition. And it's just too many plans that are already written that we just need to follow to still make this an event. People, like I say, people can do a drive-by. They can do a drive-by, pick up their meals, say, hey, thanks. Give them, whatever you was giving them previously, mask or whatever you was doing whatever you was doing that was going to be on the table, you can send it home with them. I think, but it still provides that donation part to the making people try to get their money back. I think should be our last end resort, in terms of for an event that was really for a fundraiser. That's like last to me. And I even
Alex, let me jump in, and Martin's will not do to-go meals, and our sorority has a big event every year there, and that was one of the things that we tried to negotiate. They positively will not do the to-go meals.
All right. So, have we done a roll call yet? I know a couple people voiced who wants to go and who doesn't. There's a couple people who said they do, but how many do not want to go?
Yeah.
Well, I guess before we get into that, and the pivot discussion, like Denise said, that's a whole, planning another event is just a whole nother discussion. But on this current event, how many people that we have that have already purchased tickets, and what's their current expectation? Because I'm sure when the event was canceled, I think we discussed they were going to be notified that we were going to plan the event later. And so are they expecting us to reach out and say, hey, you can get your money back? So have you been hearing, has someone contacted and asked? Because I think if we know how many people we're talking about, and then we need to make the decision of what the event's going to look like before we reach out and tell people stuff about getting their money back. So it could be a thing that said, hey, we've decided that we're canceling the event and we're getting money back, or we decided that we're going to do this. If you would like, your money back or whatever. But before we even talk about deadlines and getting money back, like what are we?
I totally agree, and that's my perspective as well. I want to withhold sending a letter if we are now discussing a virtual, because we need to give people a definitive if we're going to send anything out. As far as how many we had, I think we were approximately at 160 or so who had purchased. Those who
I don't know how many. I don't think it was at 160. No, we were at 86 on our side, and I think that Dillard had half that number.
Okay.
Dillard had half of the 80.
Yeah, they had half. I know at least half as many as we had. They didn't sell as many tickets, but they never do.
And only one alum from Xavier, he did have a table. He did indicate that some of his guests did want a refund, but they're waiting for us to make that decision. That's why I wanted to get the letter out. So I think that if we are considering now doing something virtually, which will be a totally different look, again, I will reach out to the ladies from Dillard and try to pull together a committee meeting next week. And definitely I would invite all of you to please come on and bring your opinions or your ideas to that meeting so we can go ahead and make a decision, because we do need to give the people who had the faith in us to buy tickets, we do need to give them the courtesy of sending them some type of correspondence so that they can make a decision about what they want to do with their funds. Okay? So look for a message from me, hopefully by the end of this weekend, on a date for a committee meeting so that we can decide how this will look, how we want it to look, so that when we come together, we can make a decision on if we're going to cancel or if we're going to extend the deadline for people to get their refund and then determine if we cancel or if we're not going to cancel at all.
Are you extending that invitation for this meeting to the whole general body, or you just?
Yes, anybody is welcome to join the committee. The committee has never had a limitation. I mean, the more the merrier. So, you know, I've heard some great ideas of things that we did not consider. So I think that if more people bring their ideas to the table so that we can make consideration of all ideas before we send the letter, because we don't want, you know, what if we had done? I don't want that statement to come out after we send the letter. When I send the letter, I want it to be the consensus of both Xavier and Dillard. And, you know, I want it to be the letter that we work with. Okay, is that acceptable to everyone? And I'm not opposed to if you say, okay, well, I don't want to come to the committee, but I want to send you my ideas personally. Call me, email me, text me. I'm not opposed to that because I don't profess to have all the answers to any of this.
My one request regarding that would be, can we meet as Xavier Rights committee before we pull Dillard into the conversation so we're clear on what we want to communicate to them?
Okay, I like that. I like that. Pat, are you okay with that?
I certainly am.
Elise and Jamila, and I'm asking them because they were working on the committee over the years. So, but I will look into the outdoor option and look into virtual. Okay, so I'll do that. We'll do that. Thank you all so much. And I too want the ball to go on. I was looking forward to it. Let's go into some updates here. The UNCF walk is today, actually. Started at 1 o'clock. I know there was some incentive if you registered at $25. Of course, that's your registration. But if you register at $35, you would get supposedly get a Xavier mask. I did register for myself and some of my students from Howard who are Xavier alum. I registered for us, a total of 7 of us. I didn't see on the registration, they were supposed to be keeping a calculation of how many from each alumni chapter are registered, but I didn't see where they captured that information. I don't know if they're going to do a cross-reference. I sent an email to the organizer. I have not heard from her as of yet. So I don't know how many people actually registered for the walk, but you all didn't make it because you're here. But hopefully you registered so that we could get the financial gain from that.
That walk hasn't occurred yet, Reggie. It doesn't happen
Is
till
that today?
It is today. It happens at 2 p.m. Eastern.
Oh.
Mm-hmm.
Oh, okay. Good. So you have time to get there. The alumni check-in, that is occurring today at 5 p.m. So if you know, this is a National Alumni Association initiative. So if you know alum in the area, or not even in the area, but if you know alum and you know you haven't spoken to, it's a good opportunity to reach out. I think this is also great for membership, especially if we all reach out to someone that we know in this area. So, you know, if you can today, that, you know, check in on the Zoom link. I think it looks like it'll be great time, good conversation, good music, and it's always good to get with Xavier Rights. And then the other, the endowed scholarship, Sister Monica, I don't know how many of you are familiar with this, but there is their National Alumni Association is leading the effort for an endowed scholarship to be paid over it can be paid over a 5-year period leading up to our centennial. If you want to make a one-time payment, you can do that. But if you go on to the Xavier website under the giving page, they do have payment options if you want to do quarterly, monthly. I did sign up to do the monthly automatic payment so that I could have my funds paid by 2025. And there is a commemorative pin that they will provide for you once you have met your obligation for that. I think it's 5,000. Is that correct, Denise? 5,000 per person?
Yes, it's 5,000 for the whole gift.
Okay, so
Oh,
I'm
I'm
not
sorry. I was
Per
saying
person.
yes on mute.
I'm not sure how many from Club 5 are participating, but we definitely want to get good participation for that. So the dues for our chapter are due. Calandra, Andre, I mean, I'm not sure if those have been settled yet, but you can let me know offline if we are in good standing with the national organization. There was talk of a chapter operations manual being in process. I don't know how far they have come with that, but I think that will be good for all chapters to have so that we are synchronized in what we're doing across the Alumni Association nationally.
Okay, that's something that Andre and I didn't talk about, but we'll talk about I guess there's a fee or connection to the National Association, Andre?
Yes, we normally just send a check down with the representative who goes to the Board of Governors meeting, but since I'm assuming that is not happening in person in November, so I guess we would have to mail it.
Okay. We could talk about that. Okay.
Yeah.
Or maybe see if they have an online option to accept payments. Does it have to be a check?
I wasn't even aware they had an online presence. So yes,
I think there is an online, they discussed that at the last Board of Governors meeting, executive committee meeting they had.
So there's a national.
There's something there that you can pay online some kind of way.
Payment.
Okay. I'll look into it.
Okay, and then I don't know if you all are following or if you're receiving the information from national alumni, but elections are going on for national officers. Do we have anyone from the chapter who's seeking a national office? Be great, because we can definitely advocate, pump you up, and campaign for you. But elections are going on, so look out for those correspondences from the National Alumni Association. If you are not receiving correspondences, let us know. We will make sure that we can help you get on their mailing list. But we do want everyone to, of course, it's a voting year nationally for our Alumni Association and for the nation. So we do want to be proactive with voting. And then at the last Board of Governors meeting, there was a discussion about having a chapter of the year, instituting a chapter of the year award. The details are not finalized. The vote that went through was to have the award, but in regards to how they would do it, would be large chapter versus mid-size versus small chapter, what constitutes a large chapter. There was some discussion about looking at the number of people who are they have a roster of the number of Savior Rights who are in your area, which would put us at a great disadvantage because we have a thick document of people who are in the area, but not all of those people are active. So then there's the question of, do you go by the number of people who are active? And then it became the question of, do you go by the percentage of people who are active? So all those details are being worked out. But if you know me, I'm a very competitive person. Wherever they put us, we're going to rise to the occasion because I think that we do and have the capability of doing great things. And so we will meet the challenge to bring that back to the DC, Maryland, and Virginia area. Any comments on those so far?
Without question, we should be the chapter of the year. No doubt. Absolutely no doubt within my mind that we should be the chapter of the year. Let's do it. Let's go for it. And I don't care, like if we could be edged out by the larger chapters, which is just Texas. When I went to Xavier, I was in the Texas club because we were like a gang. We were so huge. But DMV, I know we could do this. We have all the tools, and all we have to do is be super visible, because if there's no pictures, that means it didn't happen, right? So we can totally take this, y'all.
I agree.
Let's do it.
And
I have.
one of the things that's going to be considered, again, like I said, is membership. So I wrote down when Calandra was giving her report last year, we had 39 financial members. So we definitely want to exceed that so that we can show that we have progress and we have growth in the chapter. Someone was saying something?
Hi, this is Alex. I'm also usually attend those virtual meetings. I know it's done, and Elise also are on there also. But I'm still I'm on the committee for homecoming. I haven't showed up to virtual yet, but they're trying to, there was discussion about having it in May, I think during graduation. I want to see, I know what I feel, but I would want to see how did the alumni chapter feel about attending a homecoming in 2021 during graduation week. I know the outstanding thing is that most of the students are gone. Pretty much at that time, graduation weekend, you just had the graduates there and the family. So I just want to hear comments about would you or would you not be even interested or going because of COVID, because of the earliness of the comeback, or should it be pushed to the regular time in November? I just didn't want, I don't want to comment on it at the homecoming committee meeting until I kind of get more than just my opinion.
Is this different than the virtual homecoming that's currently being planned?
Yes.
That was my question.
But yes, but also there's not an either or for that. That's why Alex. So they were talking about having 2 homecomings in 2021 because the students who are seniors and such, they're missing their homecoming. And so they were talking about having something in the spring that these kids can participate in. So it wouldn't just be just for us like an alumni weekend. They wanted to have something for the young people, because y'all not considered the young people.
Speak for yourself.
Just
so they're basically separating the old heads from the young people. Is that what it is?
I mean, Reggie is always older than me, so there's that. But they were specifically talking about having 2 homecomings for 2021. So it wasn't going to be an either or. They just wanted to have something so that these kids aren't completely missing out on their homecoming. But we are still having the virtual homecoming November 4th through the 7th, 2020. So that's going to be virtual. The spring event they were talking about having would be something for pretty much whoever. And then they are hoping to have a regular homecoming in the fall of 2021.
Please, have they put out anything or have any specifics about the homecoming, the virtual homecoming?
So no, we're still planning. I know there's going to be like a run, just like they're doing this virtual UNCF run. There's going to be a virtual 5K for Xavier. They still want to have a like some type of cocktail event. They wanted to have like a podcast. There was going to be like, they were going to have speakers to, and that, you know, basically you could go on and listen to your event. I guess kind of similar to what we had when we had our virtual FET in April. Right. And that there was different times, like first we had yoga and then we had cooking and then we had cocktail and things like that. And so they wanted to do something similar where they just have these different podcast options. And I believe they're doing that in conjunction with Black Coffee Company, because they've been having like virtual things too. So I know that I might be mixing up what they're doing with Black Coffee, but I know there's a virtual like marketplace. And then there's also a podcast thing happening. There's the cocktail thing. And then there's a 5K. Those are the things I know off the top of my head. So it sounds like they're trying to have robust events to the extent that you can virtually.
Yeah, and different. I know people who were in the gospel choir, they're getting together like a reunion for the gospel choir. And this is my 25th reunion. So, you know, we're planning different things. So different sections of the university are planning things outside of what the greater university is planning, but there's nothing that has been sent out that is consolidated as of yet. All right, so the next thing that's going on was mentioned earlier. I think Denise brought up about the admitted student session. Last year, I wasn't able to make it last year, but I was glad that Denise recorded it. It looked really good, like y'all had a good turnout. This year will be virtual, so it'll be even more important that we have a lot of Xavierites on the whatever format they use for that. It'd be great if we could turn out. Now, what I need to do is submit a couple of dates that between January 22nd and March 22nd that we can do. We have a chapter meeting January 16th, which will not affect that particular date. But I do want to submit 3 days that we, as a chapter, will be available to host our virtual session for the DMV area for students who are admitted. And again, this is a great opportunity to get the information about the scholarships to those students who are accepted. So with that said, if you have your calendars in front of you, I want to propose the dates of January 30th, which is the last date of January. I don't know when Super Bowl Sunday is next year, so that would really won't affect us because I'm looking at all Saturdays here, unless you all say you want to do a evening. Saturday.
No.
And then, so the dates I would like to submit to them are January 30th, the last Saturday of January, February 27th, the last Saturday of February, and we have our chapter meeting in March on the 20th. So I would say on the 13th of March. Does anyone know when Mardi Gras is in 2021?
I don't think TD gonna let them have a Mardi Gras, but it is, I don't know that that's even occurring. But I want to say I'm looking it up on Google.
February
That
6th.
Wednesday is the 17th. So
17th of
February.
It's the
Tuesday, February 16th.
Yes.
And don't worry, even if on TV shut it down, they're gonna still get out there.
Mardi Gras is happening regardless.
Is happening regardless? Okay.
You know,
not let them out.
That's why they had such high COVID.
Yeah. So are you all okay with me submitting January 30th, February 27th, and March 13th?
So you say it again, Reggie. What exactly the event? This is the.
It's an event for students who, at that time, who are accepted to Xavier. So usually someone from admissions from the university and alumni in that area have a session with the students. I guess it's really synonymous to the Freshman Sendoff. It's an opportunity to answer questions for them, their parents, etc. And even though a lot of them have been admitted to Xavier, they may not have necessarily made the commitment to go to Xavier. So that will be an opportunity for us to make our last push to say, now that you've been accepted, this is the place for you.
I'm fine with all of those dates.
Okay. January 30th, February 27th, March 13th. So we'll submit the dates, and then of course, Xavier will let us know if one of those dates will work and which one it will be, and I will promptly communicate that with the chapter. Before we go to announcement, Theron, you want to talk about the mentorship program, your idea for that, how you would like to see that come to fruition for the chapter, what our role would be, etc.?
Well, as you may know, year before last for Freshman Sendoff, my wife and I talked to two of the students that were near in proximity to us, and they were going down to Xavier to be accepted. So something my family has done, we kind of adopt students that are especially from away for different reasons. And so we adopted 2 students from up here that were going down to Xavier, one of which we have been in constant contact with. And so what we do is just from time to time, we send them notes, we send them emails, we send them care packages, things like that. So it's kind of like it would be a good thing. I know we have the mentor set up that the seniors have done down there, but we as alumni, to strengthen our alumni in our area, it would be a good idea for us to do that. So what we have done is we've kept one of the students, and we're encouraging that everybody just pick a student. If you only want to do it for 1 year as a freshman year, as they get started, that's fine. But it helps to build relationship, and it helps to hopefully have them to come back up here and join the alumni chapter. So we are going to get a list of those students that are down there, and I would like people to sign up. We'll send out some information, but I'd like you to sign up to say you want a student. Do you want a student in your area? Do you want a female student, a male student, what have you? But it's just nice to be nice.
Okay. So we'll get a survey out to members in the chapter, as well as Xavierites in the area. That's also could be a nice way of enticing membership as well, to see how many will be willing to take on a young student at Xavier to mentor them, especially if they are on their trajectory to enter the same career path that we are in right now. Okay, the last thing on the new business agenda, we talked about in our executive committee meeting. I really would like to get the historical background for the DMV club in writing. Whether we put it in a bound document or whether we put it on the website, but we really want to chronicle the history of the chapter. So Kristen and I will be working on that. Obviously, anybody who wants to join in, we welcome that. So what we're going to do, we're going to put our heads together, and what we're going to do is start by setting up interviews with past presidents to jog their memory, to get as much information as they can remember, not only about their administration, but about previous administration. And I think by the time we get through the past presidents who are in this area or whom we can contact by phone or social media, we should be able to put some of the pieces of the puzzle together and start documenting what's, who's who in the chapter, who has been through this area, significant contributions, not only to the DMV chapter, but to their profession or to the metropolitan area. So we welcome.
I'm sorry.
Go ahead.
I'm working on
Are these
that.
videos?
Well, we can do videos, but I really am very interested in getting something in writing.
Okay, because I had the video series I started. If you and Kristen are taking over.
No, ma'am.
Well, I have to learn more about this series, but
Tomato, potato. No, we're writing like the history of the DMV chapter. So, who was president during this administration, who was the officer.
I'm working on that.
Oh, good. So we're going to start.
I'm working on it with Lois Rue. We've been up here since the 1960s.
Okay.
And so we're going to try to go back to when it started and bring it up to maybe the 60s and forward with a lot of information. We're going through some of our saved documents, listing some of the people who were, in the club and why they came up. The club started in 1944. 1944.
And that's the information I want to capture. When did we start? How did we start? Where did we go from there? How did we change? A lot of people always ask the question, why are we club number 5? Those are things that I really want to, and I know we have a brief description on the website, but I really want to get start working on. I know historical perspectives, they don't happen overnight, but we want to just sit with you all who were in leadership, not only the president, but in other areas, and really pull together, you know, how the DMV club came about and how we have grown and different things that we have done over the since 1944. We're talking about what? How many years is that? Do the math. Calandra, that's your area. What's the math?
We don't need the math.
How many ever years that is? I know Denise remember a lot of those years.
I'm a mathematician. 76. Is that 76 years?
Yeah, so you see what I'm saying? So, hey,
I was over here counting on my fingers, though. I don't.
we may all be around for the DMV Club Centennial. You never know. So, hey. All right, so some quick announcements. What's that, Elise?
I said some of you will certainly be here.
You will too.
I hope I will be here too.
You will too.
I may not know myself, but I'll be here.
And I mean, it's a lot of stuff that we can capture, like,
crazy.
And I don't mean to put Elise on the spot, but I don't even know how many of you all know who her father is.
It's a wonderful thought.
I mean, like the impact that like students at Howard were talking about him and AP Terrell, and it took me a while to put together. I wonder if he's related to Elise. So, I mean, it's the different things that a lot of us bring to the table. That's great about this chapter. So when they start talking about things like chapter of the year, you know, these are things that we can set ourselves apart, but not only that, learn more about each other. So that's just my thought. I'm a big history buff. So just a few announcements. We came in 9th for Give Love Xavier Day. So
Okay, so Chicago, you see the
saw what
difference
they
in
did.
numbers. They just kept, every time they would see that because we were in 8th place, so they kept going back and they would add on.
Yeah.
And so I called to have somebody buy some more, and then they would just add on, just so they could edge us out, so that they could be. So next year, 2021, y'all, let's blow them out the water, because you see what they did there.
Yeah.
Y'all know we won. They
I
ought to
took
stop
really
it.
did.
I took that so personally because I told you I'm competitive. I was sitting there watching as the numbers change, and I dozed off right before midnight. So I blame myself for that one. But yeah, they slipped in on us. But it's all good. We got it next year. But definitely wanted to say kudos to those of you all who donated. I think that's still great. I think it speaks volume to our love for Xavier for us to even make the top 10. I mean, we just can't compete with the numbers from members from Houston. Well, we
can. Houston didn't, I mean, in terms of the amount they raised, but they were all about having the highest number of donors.
Yeah.
So even if you
But
just
their
had
membership
somebody
is
go on and just give 5, we could beat them. We're not competitive enough.
More
We need
competitive
to be more strategic.
I agree. Fortunately, I had to do like several different smaller donations because I'm doing you in so many different organizations. So you supporting each one of them, like Have Outside, basketball, it's so many different things. So in order to try to touch everybody, you almost had to break up donations.
Yeah, you do. You really do.
And that's what I had to do compared to, just to make sure that every one of them was represented in the giving. So that's something else that probably has to be, it should be a list of ones you want to check and how much in one giving.
It used to be before they started using this current platform.
Right.
Yeah, because I had to just keep going back in and yeah, that's fine. Yeah, and just doing different givings to which is still the same total. So I'm like, ain't there a way I could have checked 25 here, 20, whatever.
I understand what you're saying, Alex. This won't be an issue going forward. Like, I think you'll still be able to break it up if they want to keep using this platform. But since I'm clear on what they're doing, we just need to be more strategic. So if Houston alumni came in with 86 donors, the next year we'll beat that number. And I don't care if we have 87 donors who each give $20 each, we would still beat their number.
Yeah.
We just have to be more strategic. That's all. We got plenty of people. We can do it.
Well, I made my one donation to Alpha. I knew we weren't going to have any other competition, so I stayed focused on class of 95 and DMV. I thought I'd slip that in there. But
You say Alpha Phi Alpha? Oh, I see him.
I know you do. I know you do.
Behind Delta Sigma Theta and AK.
Okay. Moving on to important things. I see Kristen's class edged us out. I'm class 95. They edged us out, but I give them kudos because, you know, younger alum doing their thing. That's what we want to see. So great. So we represent all the spectrum for Get Love Xavier Day. We talked about this earlier, the HBCU Alumni Alliance. We do need a representative from the DMV Club. I've reached out to a couple of alums to see if they would assume this role as our rep. They are currently having their nominations. If anyone who's online now, if you've been a past officer of the DMV Club, you are eligible to be an officer for the DC Metro HBCU Alumni Alliance. And I do want to thank Jamila for representing Xavier DMV Club over the past 2 years on the Alliance. So we appreciate that. So if anybody want to take that on, we're glad to have you. Otherwise, I will be attending the meetings and bringing back the information. Please support the YouTube channel. Denise has done a great job with placing some great entertainment, I'll call it for now, on the YouTube channel. I just saw Alexandra's interview. That was very, very good. She did one with Greg. And who else did you do, Denise? She did a couple of people.
That was Lauren Barron, who's in medical school at Howard right now. So
Okay.
She just started her final year of med school.
Okay. So if any of you all want to interview for that series, I think it's great. It's a great marketing tool. And it's good. I always believe, you know, young people who look like us, when they see that we are actually in positions that they may not necessarily imagine themselves, it does a lot to change their perspective. And again, go to the YouTube channel and see the highlights from the Freshman Sendoff. It was really good. I really enjoyed that.
The next interview is you, Reggie. So I think
Yes.
that'll be great as our November representative. I think that'll be great for people to see.
Looking forward to it. All right. So a few other announcements. I know you all, well, if you haven't, Ruth Bader Ginsburg, she lost her battle to cancer. I think that's a great loss for the country. She was definitely someone that had my respect. So just wanted to take a moment and remember her, her life and her legacy. Supreme Court Justice Ruth Bader Ginsburg. I don't know if you all saw the U.S. News and World Report. I think they got it totally wrong. We were ranked number 3 among historically Black colleges and universities. I personally think that we are number 1. We also had some significant rankings in other areas, but number 3, I mean, I think that's great, especially for the size of Xavier. You know, Xavier honestly is really starting to gain a lot of national recognition. Of course, for a long time, Xavier has been recognized for being number 1 for placing African Americans in medical school. But when it comes to what we consider those big names, Xavier is really starting to break through that door, and I think doing it in a big way. And I think that, you know, you all's work as alumni has a great deal to do with that. So we're going to keep pushing until we get that number 1. And then they made me upset with this posting. Does anybody know why I'm upset?
Right, because that is not our
That's the white school.
That is Ohio. So even with this, they still don't recognize Xavier. They do not recognize.
What was this an advertisement for?
I don't even know where this came from, but that is not us.
That's not
At all.
And I'll let y'all know exactly where that came from. But when I saw it, that was the first thing that I saw. But on the flip side, she did donate, I believe it was $20 million to Xavier.
Yeah,
So,
this is Bezos's ex-wife.
Oh, okay.
Kenzie Scott.
But where did this? Tell me where this came from.
I have to let you know when I get offline.
Yeah, the other thing is, and that's why I said this before to y'all, but I think it's imperative because people constantly, like when we get requests and things, they put Xavier University, Xavier University. We have to say Xavier University of Louisiana and make sure that they update our name. I even had to do that when I went to, whatever year I went to that HBCU Alumni Alliance, because they had us listed wrong and pulling the wrong information too. So we have to do a better job, and they definitely have to do a better job. But yeah, we need to make people know Xavier University of Louisiana.
Absolutely. So, does anyone have any other announcement or anything you would like to share?
Yes, follow us on all social media. So if you've ever received an email from the chapter, you have all our social media listed. We're on LinkedIn, Facebook, Instagram, Twitter, YouTube, and we have our website. The website is updated with the new president's information, and you can click on the scrolling pictures to be taken to any of those events. But follow our YouTube channel. We currently only have 12 subscribers.
I just subscribed.
Yeah, get our numbers up.
13.
Did you see the video, Calandra? Not yet?
It's frozen on Denise's face. I'm going to push play as soon as we get off.
Okay. All right. And then if y'all go anywhere or do anything and you have on Xavier, if you're like me, you're wearing Xavier every day. I know people get sick of me, but I don't care. Snap some pictures, send them over to Denise or myself, because we really want to promote Xavier, and I really want to promote all of you and everybody who are from Xavier in this area. I think we have some great talent, great minds here, great contributors to society, and there is no reason why we should be silent about that. So wherever you go, whatever you're doing, snap some shots for us so we can represent our alma mater.
Not just that, you have to send it to us. So you can tag the chapter in your picture, and then we can repost you. So if you tag Xavier, so I've noticed a lot of people do that. If you tag us, we can repost you. But also, we don't currently have a communications committee. It doesn't have to all fall on Denise. I would love for us to have a committee. So if you would be willing to work with me to help us do a better job of tweeting and Instagram pictures and videos and things like that, I would welcome the help. It doesn't take much to do, but when it all falls on me, it's not. I'm older than, not as old as Reggie, but I am older, so I don't do as great a job as some of the young people, I think. But yes, I'm still younger than Reggie. That's all.
Yeah, okay.
One other that I may have missed, but if any other social media, is there a link or somewhere somebody can send me a link for dues? I think I heard it mentioned in the new year started for dues, and if that's the case, then somebody send me a link or let me know how to pay that dues.
I'm gonna do it right now.
But for the chapter though, what is it? So we're kind of.
I'm gonna do it right now.
$50.
Wait, for the chapter. Yeah, so you can pay your dues by PayPal. You can pay them on Cash App, or you can send them through the mail. PayPal or Cash App is actually the easiest if you have Cash App, and then we can download it.
Okay.
But also, Alex, that means you're not getting our emails that go out from the chapter, because we just sent out an email yesterday.
Okay, I don't know how I got that this was meeting. This may have been, I don't know, Facebook. I don't know.
Facebook.
Yeah. So whatever it is, please add me so I'll be able to know what's going on.
I'm gonna do it now.
All
right. So two last things, and we will adjourn. First thing, I do want to take a personal privilege of recognizing Clark and Kaylin. They are our millennial alumni.
Welcome.
Thank you.
And they both are.
I also wanted to ask about the logo. Have y'all voted on it yet, or
we have not? We have not. That's what we're gonna, when we talk about the mask, we're gonna. Yep.
What logo?
He worked on some logos for the mask for us.
Oh, so not the logo that we currently use for the chapter?
No, he worked on some different ones, so we're gonna look at all of them.
So this is not a logo change. It's a
No,
change
this
for
is
the
this is
mask,
for the
or?
mask. Yeah, for the mask. Yeah.
Oh, okay.
Yeah.
Cool.
But both Clark and Kaylin are in dental school at Howard, keeping our numbers up at Xavier. So we have what, about 6 or 7 of y'all, right?
I think so, yeah.
All right, so they will be active with us. I'm sure they've already promised me. So welcome to you all.
Run it by Xavier Alumni Office, because intellectual property is really being discussed.
Absolutely. And then the last thing I want to say, thank you all for hanging in here this morning. We went about, what, 2 hours and something? Moving forward, I promise our meetings will be no more than an hour, maybe a 15-minute grace, so an hour, 15 minutes. So we will really start enforcing, sending out committee reports, having committee reports sent to the chapter prior to the meeting, so the meetings can be, we get all the pertinent information in, and we get to spend some social time with each other, and then enjoy the rest of our Saturday. So I make that promise to you all. Okay. So with that, if no one has anything else,
I do have a question. I'm sorry.
No problem.
This is Mia. What's the Cash App tag? Oh, XU Club 5. Okay, thank you.
Right. So don't forget to do the check-in today. Since Denise swear I'm a senior citizen, I will be looking for my calls for y'all checking in on me. And I will be calling
How
some
much
of you.
is the dues?
$50.
How much is the dues again?
$50.
50?
Mm-hmm.
Okay.
All right. Okay, so I'll entertain a motion to adjourn.
Thank you.
Second.
Yeah, someone had a comment?
I move that we adjourn the meeting
At 12:51.
immediately.
Is there a second?
That was a second. Yes, Pat second. So it's been properly moved and second that we adjourn the September 2020 meeting. Is there any unreadiness? Seeing and hearing none, all in favor, say aye.
Aye.
Any opposition?
Aye.
All right, thank you all, appreciate it, and looking forward to a great year. Continue to be great. All right, have a good day. And I'll let you all know about the meeting for the Mardi Gras Ball.
Okay.
Okay, good.
Bye.
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 Peace.
Bye.